All right, so we've discussed prevention strategies, and now we're going to look at replacement skills. So, if we can't let children use challenging behaviors to express their needs, how can they express them in ways that are appropriate? That's an important question, right? So, the new skill must replace the challenging behavior and act as the alternative behavior to the challenging behavior. The new skills that you choose to teach need to be efficient and effective. And we need to consider what skills the child already has, because sometimes that can even serve as a replacement behavior already. You should make sure that when the child uses the replacement skill, there is consistent positive feedback, and you should teach children the replacement skill throughout the day, specifically when the child is not engaged in the challenging behavior. The instruction of replacement skills is really based on the idea that whenever possible, the most effective intervention that you can provide the child with is a new way to communicate the message of the behavior, so that escape or obtain. Rather than ignoring the message, we provide the child with a functionally equivalent means of communication. So this is something that we call a competing behavior equation. And although we want children to meet our expectations, things like, sit in circle and pay attention and don't hit Susie next to them, we have to meet them where they are. So that means that our expectations might compete with what the child needs or wants. And what we don't want to do is accept their challenging behavior or reinforce the challenging behavior in any way. So initially, we might teach a child to use a signal, or using an appropriate behavior that he or she wants to leave the activity. Somehow they're communicating to us in an appropriate way that they need a break or they need to step away and do something else. So while we do that, we also will also be using the prevention strategies to make the activity more meaningful. And we'll be teaching the child skills to increase their engagement and attention in the activity, so they're hopefully less likely to want to escape the activity anyway. Here are two different slides of possible new responses for escape and obtain behaviors. Okay, and these lists are really only a sample of some possible replacement skills for escape and obtain behavior. The replacement skills that are taught to an individual child they must, pay attention, they must match the purpose or the function of the challenging behavior in order to be effective at all. You could use cue cards. Cue cards can be used to prompt the child to remember and use a replacement skill instead of a challenging behavior. And self-management is a method of helping children monitor their own behaviors. So in order to do this, identify a behavior that the child is going to self-manage, and then somehow visually display behaviors for that child. So maybe they're pictures or posters or cue cards. And then provide instruction to the child on the targeted skills. So you're going to teach the skills and give the child a mechanism to monitor that skill. So maybe there's something like a checklist or a chart or some way of monitoring. And then you're going to provide positive attention to the child for engaging in that behavior and using whatever the agreed upon self-monitoring system is. Self-management might result in a reward, and this is some type of an extrinsic reward. So this is very much a behaviorist approach, but maybe the child gets to engage in an activity they enjoy. Some people use like a certificate. This is where gold stars come in. They have to be rewards that are meaningful for the child. And it's really important that we're not taking rewards or privileges away when things don't go right. Self-management is a strategy that might be used with children older than 3 who have some more advanced language and cognitive skills. And again, this isn't a strategy that you're going to use with every child in your class. In most of your ECE courses, we teach you that this kind of external extrinsic reward is not something you want to do on an ongoing basis. But when we're dealing with persistent, challenging behaviors, this process of reward, this using a behaviorist theoretical strategy, can be pretty valuable and successful. This is an example of a self-monitoring chart that was laminated, and the chart included a rectangular pocket with a dry erase marker inside that pocket. And as the child finished, he checked off the steps on top of the I did it. Okay. So immediately after this, I'm going to ask you to watch a video in the list, in your video list, that's about teaching social skills. So again, this is with our buddy Tim, and the video demonstrates teaching social skills through role playing, right? So teaching social skills and the use of a scripted story. And it also shows how self-management can be taught by using cues. So a simple child-friendly goal sheet and a certificate.